Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it is time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. We have more information on the exit of Bob Chapek. He was fired, according to the New York Times.
Well, we all know that he's fired.
We all know that.
And what I'm hearing, too, is that they had started talking to Iger on Friday.
Yes.
And then they had just made their deal with him when they announced. So they drafted this up. As soon as they announced, they let him know that Chapek was fired and then announced everybody Iger was back.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this because there are more people getting gone from Disney, and it sounds like it was a coup, basically.
Yeah, I think Christine McCarthy's in on it.
Yeah, so this is absolutely bonkers what's going on at Disney, and this just shows, like, look guys, it was not hyperbole when we said that Disney was desperate, they were in a bad place, they were trying to put a good spin on it, but for them to make a change like this, the way that they did, as quickly as they did, that's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. There's no way to candy coat it. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 281,000 subs.
Yay!
Thank you for the support. Go out to piratesandprincesses.net for more objective Disney news. And yeah, we've been objective about Disney for a couple of years now. We keep telling you guys it's not the same company it was.
Yeah, we keep telling them that, like, everybody's like, oh, they're getting rid of the wokeness. Like, no, they're not.
No,
you know,
they're not.
They fired the one guy who was kind of like against it. You know,
No, they're bringing back woke prime. No.
Yeah.
No, actually, what set Disney on the political path was, I believe, Bob Iger's political ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposedly going to run for president or run for office, and he started getting more and more political in the last couple of years and kind of set Disney on this path. So a lot of the DEI stuff and all that, you know, people are taking issue with, you can thank Bob Iger for that. And lucky you, he's back. And what's he do? First thing he does when he comes back is he fires a black guy.
I was going to say that. I was like, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. But Chapek, he was like Chapek's, like, you know, lackey kind of thing from my understanding.
Okay. So yeah, we can't have anybody loyal to Bob Chapek. I mean, this is brutal, man. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about this coup. But yeah, since the announcement yesterday, late last night, that Chapek got gone, Iger announces restructuring after taking Disney reins, Kareem Daniel to exit. He also got shit canned. I guarantee you he got fired. So in a memo to Disney staffers, Iger announced restructuring at the media giant will begin in the coming weeks. As part of that restructuring, Kareem Daniel, chairman of Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution, remember they restructured and they put him in charge,
Right.
Will be stepping down, with Iger thanking Daniel for his many years of service. So I've asked Dana Walden, Alan Bergman, Jimmy Pitaro, and Christine McCarthy to work together on the design of a new structure that puts more decision-making back in the hands of our creative teams and rationalizes costs. And this will be a necessitated reorganization of Disney Media and Entertainment, which just got reorganized like last year by Bob Chapek.
Yeah, but this is insane. I was just thinking, a side note, but it was Iger who wanted to do the move Imagineering to Florida.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
quick.
so a lot of decisions, I mean, look, Chapek was not good at his job. I don't think he was good at his job. He did not have the finesse of Bob Iger, but he was basically carrying out a lot of the stuff that Iger
had
put
in
play. Yeah. This is interesting. Our goal is to have the new structure in place in the coming months. Without question, elements of DMED will remain, but I fundamentally believe that storytelling...
That's what they keep going with. Storytelling. Our glorious storytelling. Chapek, if you took a shot every time he said storytelling, you would have dropped dead at the meeting.
Storytelling fuels the company, and it belongs at the center of how we organize our business. Now, Chapek did mention that before, but it sounds like a lot of people, especially a lot of creatives, not happy. Of course, Chapek made some comments about animation.
That was stupid.
Animation's kids stuff, and it's like, oh my God, your theme parks are built
I know,
on animation.
and he's in charge of this. I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah, so I mean, really, what talks at the end of the day, is money. And
speaking of which, is kind of related but unrelated. So today, we didn't do a video on this, but the Genie Plus, they were charging people $29 for Genie Plus on top of your $159 ticket. And if you wanted Lightning Lane for like Rise of the Resistance, it doesn't work half the time, $25 a person. So you could end up spending 200 and some bucks a person, like $800, almost $900 with tax for a family of four to go to Hollywood Studios today with Genie Plus and Lightning Lane.
Oh, this is not going to change. Everybody thinks
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, Bob Chapek's gone, so they're gonna institute price cuts and deals, and no, not unless they absolutely positively have to. But I think at the very least they might be able to make some of these upcharges a lot less confusing, because Disney has become very confusing in the last couple of years, which makes it unattractive to a lot of people. Beyond
I want to mention that Iger is the one who did Genie Plus and all that. That was Iger.
Yeah.
Most of these decisions were Iger. And I'm not like defending Chapek in any way. I mean, I think Iger is better than Chapek, but it's like someone said it's like a bad to worse, back to bad again, and that's kind of, I would agree with that, because a lot of the things Iger did put the company in the position they were in to begin with, which is why he was gone by the board.
Yeah, actually, Iger overspent. I mean, the end of the day, Iger overspent acquiring Fox. And there was an article out there today, I think it was Variety, talking about how he's coming back into a very different budget cut Hollywood.
What's funny to me is we've been saying this the entire time. Since Iger was ousted and Chapek took over and the stuff kept coming out. We've been saying this the entire time.
Clownfish TV lies.
No, it's a lot of people saying it now, and they're like, well, did you know so-and-so said? And it's like, yeah, I wonder where they heard it from.
So, yeah, they said he was blindsided because apparently they asked Bob Iger on Friday if he would come back, and then they fired Chapek Sunday night.
After, as soon as they got it finalized, the agreement finalized, they fired him.
Basically, what's it going to take to get you to come back?
I'm sorry, he stepped down.
Bullshit.
But it was right after they got an agreement that he didn't know about, and someone called him up and told him he was done. The stepping down in quotes.
Yeah. So CNBC said he was blindsided. They blindsided Chapek with CEO decision. Disney's board reached out to Bob Iger on Friday about coming back as CEO. I mean, talk about a snap decision. Senior Disney leadership, including CFO Christine McCarthy, had concerns with Chapek's management of the company.
Well, to be fair, I have concerns about McCarthy, but here we sit.
Well, we're going to talk about that because there seems to be mounting evidence that she might have staged a coup. Cruella staged a coup.
Oh, shocker. I also want to point out she would have been in charge when the whistleblower, pointed out to hires up that there were some issues in accounting, and then she got gone, and then there was a big lawsuit, but she actually won, by the way, and all that. That was with Christine McCarthy and Bob Iger in charge.
Chapek and his inner circle were caught off guard by the news, which broke Sunday night. Can you imagine? Like,
that would suck. I mean, I don't like Chapek. I don't wish that on him. That sucks.
Like, you're sitting there Sunday evening and you're looking forward to Thanksgiving and all that jazz, and hey, you're fired. Well, wait, I just signed a contract. No, it doesn't matter. We're buying you out. You're done.
I was honestly surprised they gave him an extension then.
I
truly was. I didn't think that they would extend his contract then.
Yeah, they said the change came together quickly, blindsiding Chapek and his closest allies.
Well, they probably want to give him a heads up so they could make a counter plot.
The board's outreach to Iger and discussion to replace Chapek came after the board married internal complaints about Chapek's leadership, with concerns following Disney's most recent quarterly earnings report, said the people who asked not to be named. One of the executives to express a lack of confidence in Chapek was Christine McCarthy, Disney's CFO. Two of the people said.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she wasn't the only one. Most of the fans and the people on the board and stuff, there's a lot of people who didn't have faith in him. That's not surprising. Also, what also isn't surprising is I don't think that's her real hair color.
That's not her real hair color, no. McCarthy was Iger's CFO before he departed in 2020, holding the role since 2015. She has an established relationship with the board given her longevity in the position. A Disney spokesperson declined to comment. Chapek didn't respond to a request for comment. He probably doesn't know what the hell to say. And they didn't just
He's probably told not to say anything.
Yeah, he probably had to sign papers like, hey, you want your severance? You want us to buy your contract out? Sign this paper, you're out the damn door. On Sunday, Disney said it would replace Chapek with Iger as CEO effective immediately. Again, this was a termination. This wasn't like, yeah, he's just going to step down, guys.
When Iger stepped down and they had Chapek there, people are like, oh, no, he chose to do it. I don't think he did, because the look on his face was like, oh, shit. So, but they had him stay, for a while, and just shifted his positions around until they got him out of there. And then here comes, he's coming back because they didn't have anybody else. And I guess they were looking at other people to possibly put in, but they knew they didn't have anybody that could take the job that quick and run with it.
Kevin Mayer could have.
Well, they already got rid of Kevin Mayer left. No, Kevin Mayer left because he got shafted for Chapek.
And Tom Staggs left, and Kevin Mayer and Tom Staggs formed a company together, I believe, was it Candle Media or something, and they started buying up a bunch of other companies. And they were both, in the running to run Disney, and they both quit because they're like, obviously, we're not going to ever get the shot, so we'll go do it ourselves. I don't blame them.
No, that was Disney stupidity there.
I'd be like, fuck you, Bob and Bob.
It's almost like if you have people that are, working for you and doing a good job and you treat them like shit, they're going to leave and then they're going to start their own thing and they're going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Looking at you, the Kingdom Insider.
Iger has consistently heard complaints from his ex-colleagues throughout the year about Chapek's leadership style and decision to pull away budgetary power from Disney's creative executives. According to people familiar with the matter, several specifically noted Chapek's plan to move 2,000 Disney employees from California.
I mentioned that. But that was not Chapek's plan.
That was Iger's.
That was Iger's plan.
So basically what is going to happen here, and we said before, it's he's going to be the fall guy. Chapek is going to be the fall guy for all the bad decisions that Iger put into place that Chapek just kind of continued. And then he'll come in and be like, well, I had to fix everything that I effed up in the first place.
I am fairly certain that was Iger who had started that one, that was behind that start of moving everybody.
So he's coming back. They said that there are some internal CEO candidates that were identified.
Yeah, there you go.
But
it would be too hard.
It'd be too hard. You can't just throw. Well, we see what happens when you just throw somebody into a CEO role and they're not
mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. They said the memo about cost cutting led to some internal pushback against Chapek. One of the people said, "Well, here's the thing. Hollywood doesn't like to believe that things are bad. I mean, they really don't. But the flip side is Chapek would probably slash the budget to the point where there's nothing Disney puts out that's worth paying for."
Well, what's interesting to me was Christine McCarthy and Chapek and then that legal counsel guy were the ones that were on the group that were going to decide who gets cut. And then Christine McCarthy runs to the board and to the people that were probably going to get cut, and they all complain, and then they get rid of Chapek instead.
Yeah. So they said they're talking about all the pressure he's had. The trouble came to a head on November 8th when Chapek hosted a conference call with analysts following Disney's weaker than expected quarterly report. Disney just reported a loss of $1.47 billion in its streaming business, more than twice the loss reported in the prior year quarter, and had underperformed analysts' expectations in revenue and income.
But they've underperformed before, and we've seen other people do poorly. But then the stock went down. And let's be honest here. At the end of the day, this is about them getting rid of him because they thought it was going to up the stock prices.
Yeah, because they said, profit margins at the theme parks were shrinking, the company said.
I don't see how. I don't understand this. Where is the money going? Because they're shoving people nuts to butts in there. They keep charging more and more money for it. Like we just saw today, they doubled the Genie Plus pretty much in the last couple of months. They're raising ticket prices again. They're raising annual passes again. They keep jacking the rates on everything, snacks, merchandise, everything. But yet they're still down. Where is the money going?
Christine McCarthy's pension? I mean,
I don't know.
Look, this is the same woman that gets an $11 million bonus. $11 million bonus during
$11 million.
Up to during the pandemic when so many of their cast members can't even put food on the table. She's getting up to $11 million in bonuses. That's not even her base salary. So they said that she was not happy with the conference call. And they said Ms. McCarthy, the CFO, told the board member she wasn't happy with the way Chapek communicated with investors during the conference call, which we said was kind of weird.
It was weird. He was all happy and upbeat, and he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, it was like how it was short. It was a very short meeting.
But she wasn't great either because they asked her flat out, they're talking about, because of the impending recession might affect things, and then they asked her and she wouldn't answer the questions. So she wasn't really doing much better, to be honest. I thought I had more trouble with what she was saying than I did with what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, they were both, and we did a video on it, they were both kind of tip-tapping around the big issue.
But they were really upbeat about it. We're great at storytelling. Everything sucks. It's it's all fine here. It's all fine.
Yeah, we said this is unusual, and the fact that the, this is an end-of-year earnings call, and it was very short. It was a very short call, because what are you supposed to say? We missed the mark. It'll get better next year, I hope. Bye. That's
pretty much what it was.
That's basically the sun will come out tomorrow. Apparently she was not happy. And Iger received a call from Susan Arnold, the chairman of the board, probably McCarthy went to Susan and said,
well, I'm sure other people too, because she would have known who they were to cut, and I'm sure they went with her. Yeah, literally, it's a mutiny.
So Arnold hadn't spoken with Iger in months and asked would Mr. Iger consider coming back to run Disney again over the next 2 days. A fevered negotiation unfolded, culminating Sunday night just as many of the company's top executives were on their way to an Elton John concert in
Because it was
LA.
being streamed. Yes, I knew about that.
With the surprise announcement that Mr. Chapek had stepped down and Iger would be returning. He didn't step down. He got fired.
Yeah, why do they keep saying that? Well, because they're trying to be nice, but we all know he got fired.
So yeah, this is, this though, a lot of people are like, oh wow, hey, that's pretty cool, whatever. So they were hoping it was going to boost their stock. It hasn't really.
It went up to like $100 and like 58 cents, and then it just went down. I mean, it's up from last Friday where it was like about $92 a share, and now it's up to like 97. So it did raise it up some, but it wasn't like, oh, it skyrocketed, and it didn't do that. I'm sorry. From
the outside, it looks like the company is in absolute chaos right now. I mean, for them to fire Bob Chapek on a Sunday night like that, I mean, that's cold, man. That's even for Disney, that's cold. But this whole thing has been weird. Like, yep, Iger's out the door. Chapek's taken over, and he hadn't even named his successor yet. And like you said, Chapek looked like a deer in the headlights, and then they took the keys from him.
Well, Iger looked like someone kicked his puppy. I mean,
he overspent.
But I'm just like, I don't believe people are like, oh, he set this up. I don't think so, because his face on that video or that interview afterwards was not the face of somebody who this was their choice.
I think that they slapped him on the wrist for spending too much money on Fox, and so they brought Chapek in because he was known for being a bean counter. They brought him in to weather the pandemic, because they're like, oh man, our revenue is going to be way down. We need a guy that can not spend a ridiculous amount of money and put us in debt. And then it turned out that he wasn't that great either. And the only reason Iger's back, I don't think this was I'm with you. I don't think it was some Machiavellian scheme, because that really has taken the long way around.
Yeah.
I think it was basically they need to get rid of Chapek now, but they don't know who else to bring in.
Well, it's just funny, though, because they felt that they had to get rid of Iger now, and they put Bob Chapek in, and now they're doing it. They're bringing Iger back, and the board, at the end of the day, the board's kind of responsible for all this shit.
It sounds to me like nobody is in charge. Like, really, like, does anybody know?
Sounds like Christine McCarthy's in charge.
She might be.
I'm just saying.
So this is a fund management LP. Nelson Peltz built a sizable stake in the company earlier this month and is seeking a board seat as it pushes for other operational changes, according to people familiar with the matter. They said the view is Mr. Iger shouldn't be back in control of the company.
I don't disagree. I think they should have got somebody else.
So,
but I mean, I get why. Okay, I get why they brought him back, because they need somebody who knows what they're doing and knows Disney and you get in there while they find somebody else. I get why. Do I think it's a good idea? No, I don't think he's like the ultimate savior, but I think he is. I know I've been doing this for a long time, okay, and a lot longer than some other people out there have been doing this. And I'm just saying, there's been a lot of choices that came down that his decisions back then have led to the way the company is now, and I think that Chapek is not innocent in everything, and I think he's a kind of a dumbass. But I know that not everything was his fault, and he gets blamed for all of it. And I don't think that's right, because Iger was just as much at fault, honestly, probably more so than Chapek was.
So we'll see what happens, guys. I think there are going to be a lot more executives thrown overboard, and then it's like, yeah, Iger's going to come in and act like, oh, look, I'm saving the company that I set up to fail. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.